And good. Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's take a moment just to become present. So find yourself in a nice, comfortable seated position, either on a blanket or a pillow or a block. Have your spine nice and long, back of your neck nice and long, opening your chest, opening your heart. And close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. Soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning, the intention that I thought of for our class today was embracing winter. And voila, we have cooperation. So there's a concept that you may or may not be familiar with. I know some of you are, called hygge. And it's a Danish word that represents a feeling. And this feeling is about the coziness of your soul. Mike Weiken, who's the CEO of the Happiness Research Institute in Copenhagen, Denmark, and Denmark had been the happiest country in the world. It has slipped into second place behind Finland, actually, the last 3 years, but it's still in second place. And he's the CEO there, and he says the true essence of hygge is the pursuit of everyday happiness. It's basically like a hug without the physical touch. So to enjoy the coziness of the soul, you focus on simple pleasures. And since they're in a climate like us, we can really relate to what their suggestions are. For example, soup cooking on the stove, the smells and feelings of eating a nice warm soup, reading a good book, finding a nook for yourself in your house that is nice and cozy and perhaps to read a good book, enjoying a cup of tea or cocoa or coffee, doing board games, puzzles, walks in the nature, listening to music or playing music, having candlelight. Lots and lots of candlelight is part of the hygge feeling. And with us having, some of us having taken down Christmas ornaments, I still have my Christmas tree up and the candles in the window, so that doesn't go away for a while. The light has diminished again within our house, and so candlelight is a great way of bringing that nice, warm, soft glow back into your home. It's different than the screen glow, that blue glow of your TV and your devices. It's a warmer, comforting glow. So I encourage you to set out candles, even just one at dinner time can make a difference. So embracing winter. Today's practice, we're gonna do some things that, some poses that are just kind of strength builders for different winter sports too. And for today's pranayama, I read something that I thought was interesting, and I hope you play along with me with this, because I can't figure out if it really works or not. I forgot to write her name down. Anyway, this woman who wrote the article teaches breath exercises. And whenever she has a beginner student, she teaches breath exercising using mudras. And we, use our mudras. And the mudra is, we have meridians that say acupuncturists use all the time when they're treating people. And the meridians begin and end in our fingertips and our toes. And so doing a mudra with your hands, and common ones is like the Anjali mudra or the Gyan mudra, redirects that energy back into your body in a certain way. It affects certain parts of your body. So her technique in teaching breathing is to use mudras. So she starts by having the person, and this is where we can begin, person just breathing on their own and just feeling where that breath is emanating from. So you inhale through your nose and you follow it down and you see where it kind of lands. If it lands in your chest, if it lands lower, just kind of breathe for a few moments and see where it lands. And typically with us, we only use about 7% of our lung capacity. And our breath is, I don't know if you've experienced it, but a lot of times it just kind of sits up here in your upper chest. And that's your area of fight and flight. So if you are able to bring the breath down further, it'll be a more calming experience for you. So rather than keeping your normal breath in the fight or flight area of your chest, see if you can move it down. And what she's had the beginning students do is use the mudra Gyan, which is bringing your thumb and your pointer finger together and extending the other 3 fingers. And you use that and then breathe again normally. And I don't know if you notice, if it drops down, the breath goes deeper into your ribs. This is her theory. And since I read it and tried it, I'm like, okay, maybe it's mind over matter that I'm thinking it's doing it, but not really doing it. And then the third thing she had him do is take the thumb, put the pointer fingers together, like Gyan, and then bring the middle finger together and extend the other 2 fingers up. So you have your thumb, pointer, and middle finger together, and the other 2 extended up. And then had the student breathe again. And her feeling is that it automatically drops the breath down into the stomach. And that these mudras help to send that breath further and further down. Raise of hands, anybody feeling that? Oh, Ms. Weaver Goss, Mr. Crowther did, Linnea did. It's interesting. Yeah, it's so let's segue into a meditation and you can experiment with that a little bit. Just kind of, I was doing it all night. Like, okay, I'm not going to control my breath. I'm going to let it be. And then I started playing with my fingers and I'm like, I think it's working, but I wasn't quite sure. So let's segue into a meditation for a few moments and you can play with that experiment if you wish. And I'll meet you on the mat. You may open your eyes now and we'll begin our asanas part of the practice. So let's, again, you can still stay on your cushion if you wish. Elongate your back and back of your neck. We'll start with a few shoulder shrugs just to loosen up our upper shoulders and also to try to relieve any tension from the upper part of your body. And then reverse the direction of your shoulder shrugs, so bringing them in a circle, the opposite direction. And just gently relaxing while you're doing that. The idea is to create softened shoulders, not tense back. And then we can pause here, bringing our fingertips to the mat on both sides of us. We're going to start with some sun breaths. So inhale deeply, lifting your hands up overhead. And exhale, bringing your hands back down to the mat. Inhale again, deep from your stomach all the way up through your ribs to your chest. And exhale, let that breath flow away from your chest and your ribs and your stomach. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Then inhale and bring your hands up overhead. We keep them up there and then just turn to the left side of your mat and bring your hands down with the exhale, landing your right hand on your left knee. And then bringing your hands up again with an inhale, deep inhale, turning and then turning to the left side of your mat. Bring your hands back down. Left hand goes on your right knee. Inhale, lifting arms up overhead. Exhale, bringing your hands back down, turning to the right, bringing your right hand to your left knee. Inhale, lifting your hands up overhead, turning to the left side of your mat, or to the right side of your mat, and bringing your hands back down, the left hand on your right knee. Inhale once again, all the way up, turning to the left, bringing your hands back down, right hand to the left knee. And then return back to center. Bring both feet together, soles of your feet together for cobbler's pose. You can rest your hands on your ankles here, grabbing them on the upper part of your ankle. And then we're going to point our elbows toward our knees and hinge at the waist and lean forward just gently, just stretching gently your back, keeping your gaze out ahead. Go as far as what is comfortable. Again, feel that spot, that sweet spot that's between effort and relaxation. And then come back in again. That sweet spot, the more you practice, the more it'll continue to move further and further. Let's do that one more time. Elbows pointing toward your knees, hinging at the waist, flat back, reaching forward, gaze is out ahead. And then come back in. And one more time. Elbows toward your knees, hinging at the waist. Find that sweet spot. And then come back up. We're going to leave our left foot where it is and extend the right foot out at a diagonal. So you're going to feel the stretch in your inner thigh. Foot is, both feet can be flexed, toes pointing up to the sky. Then we're going to take our right hand and place the pinky on the mat and the back of the hand against your leg near the knee or thigh. Then turning to look to the left so that you're looking over your left knee. We're going to sweep our left hand up overhead and then slide our right hand, which is against our knee, along the inner part of our right leg. So we're going to come into a crescent-shaped stretch. And again, find that sweet spot. It may not be very far down. And then inhale, come back up. We'll try that again. So pinky is on the floor, back of the hand is against the thigh, so it's going to slide along the inner part of your leg. Facing toward your left knee, sweep your left arm up overhead, and then slide your right hand, back of your hand, along the inside of your right leg. And then come back up again. And then bring your foot back to center, back to cobbler's pose. Wrap your hands around your ankles again, and we'll do a few more of the leaning forward of the cobbler's pose. Again, elbows toward your knees, hinging at the waist, relaxing, keeping a straight back, come down, keep sending your gaze out ahead. And then come back up. One more time. Extend your elbows toward your knees, hinge at the waist, leaning forward. Come to that sweet spot. And then come back up. And then leaving your right foot where it is, extend your left foot out at a diagonal. Feet are flexed, toes pointing up to the sky. Take your left hand, setting the pinky on the mat or on the floor, on the inside of your left leg. And then turn toward your right knee. Lift your right arm up overhead. And then slide your left hand along the inside of your left leg. And come back up. We'll try that again. Turning toward your right knee, lifting your right arm up overhead and sliding it down toward, or your left hand down toward your left foot. And come back up. And then bringing both feet back to center. We'll cross both legs and we'll do a few side stretches using a seated position. So bringing your fingertips to the mat, lift your left arm up, and then bend your right elbow so it's coming down toward the mat. And then come back up again. Bringing both fingertips back to the mat, lifting your right arm up, bend your left elbow toward the mat, and bend over. Supported side stretch. And then come back up. We'll do it again on both sides. So right fingertips on the mat, left arm goes up, bending your right elbow toward the mat. And then inhale, come back up. And left fingertips on the mat, right arm goes up. Bend your left elbow toward the mat. And side stretch to the left. And come back up. We'll make our way to our hands and knees to tabletop. You can keep your towel there if you want. Keep my towel there because there's a divot in my floor. So coming to tabletop, fingers are spread wide apart. Your wrists are right below your shoulders. Knees are right below your hips. Navel's tucked to the spine to create a flat back. And you just check in with your hands to see if there's equal weight in each hand so that you are centered on your mat. So if you feel like you're leaning a little bit more into one hand than the other, try to adjust that so you feel that there's equal weight in both hands. We're going to exhale, rounding the back, dropping the head and tailbone down for cat. And inhale, reaching the head and tailbone up for cow. Exhale, rounding the back. Dropping your tailbone down, head down for cat. Inhale, lifting your head and tailbone up for cow. And then continue at your own pace. Deep inhales and exhales, synchronizing the movement to your breath. Try to maintain that equal pressure in both hands and pushing down into the mat so that you create space between your shoulders and your ears. And we'll all meet back at a straight back. Again, your navel's tucked to your spine, supporting your lower back. Bring both knees together so that they're touching. Make sure your hands have that equal weight, and then extend your right leg back, pointing the toes to the back of the mat, and lift your left arm up, pointing the fingertips to the front of the mat. That's bird dog. And we're gonna point the toes, and on the inhale, flex the foot, toes pointing down for exhale. So inhale, point, exhale, flex, inhale, point, exhale, flex, inhale, point, exhale, flex, inhale, point, exhale, flex, inhale, point, and bring both hands and legs back down. We'll do that on the other side. So bringing your knees together, extend your left leg out, pointing your toes to the back of the mat. Lift your right arm up, pointing your fingertips to the front. Point, inhale, flex, exhale, 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 point, inhale, and flex, exhale, and bring everything back down to the mat. We'll walk our hands back, tucking our toes under, walk your hands back to come into a squat. You move your blanket or pillow out of the way, and whatever schmutz this is. And then push down in your toes, come up to mountain position. Mountain position, our toes are facing the straight edge of the mat. Your legs are about, your feet are about hip width apart, or whatever comfortable stance is for you. Legs are soft but strong. Gentle bend in your knees. Navel's tucked to the spine, elongating your back and the back of your neck. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Top of your head reaches to the sky. And I've been forgetting this lately, but let's lift our toes up off the mat and spread them wide apart. And then bring them back down to the mat and lifting our heels up off the mat and coming back down. So you're nice and anchored into your mat. Almost, if you're in the snow, you can see footprints in your snow. So inhale, sweeping your hands up overhead. Exhale, come down into forward fold, bending your knees generously, planting your hands on the floor or mat. So your knees are bent as generously as possible to bring your hands to the floor. Take a moment or two to just check in with your body. See if you're feeling any tension anywhere today. Sending a deep breath to that tension. Inhale, come halfway up, sliding your hands up your shins. Come to a flat back, opening your chest as wide as you can, sending your gaze forward, half forward fold. And exhale, forward fold, bringing the crown of your head down toward the ground. You can keep your knees bent or straighten them as much as what's comfortable for you. And sweeping our hands all the way up overhead, sending our gaze up to our thumbs. And then separating our hands, we're going to come into palm tree. So bring yourself up on your tippy toes and just sway for a moment or two. Get our balance going. Bring our heels back down to the mat. Hands back down to the floor or the mat for forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, half forward fold, flat back, gaze is out ahead, open chest, open heart. Exhale, forward fold, head comes down toward the ground. Then sweep your hands all the way up again, up and overhead, sending your gaze up to your thumbs, and then bringing your palms together, bring your hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. And we're gonna place both hands on the back of our hips. Fingertips are pointing down. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin is tucked to your chest. We'll just send our shoulders back for supported back bend. Continue breathing here. Then inhale, bring yourself back upright. And we're gonna have, this is gonna be a little exercise for snowshoeing. So we're gonna bring our left leg up, touching it with our left hand, and actually pushing down into our leg with our left hand while our left leg is trying to come up. So you're gonna create a resistance there. So the left leg can either stay where it is, but engage it so that when you're pushing down with your left hand, it doesn't go anywhere. Your left leg doesn't go anywhere. So we're gonna do that. Put that leg down and then do it on the other side. Right leg comes up, pushing down with your right hand. So you feel the tension in here, but it's also adding strength to your leg. So let's continue that. Speed up the action a little bit. Go at your own pace. Just alternate legs, pushing down, lifting your leg up. So this helps with your balance. And this morning when I was out snowshoeing with Oscar, the snow's pretty heavy out there this morning, so it builds strength in your legs. And if you use poles with your snowshoeing, it'll build strength with your arms. Let's do a couple more and then come back to a neutral position. There. And this is one for the cross-country skiers. This is one that I love doing. There was on TV, Gilad, who was a like Jack LaLanne, more contemporary, but he did this exercise, which I absolutely loved. And it's like cross-country skiing. So you come down into a chair pose, arms out front, bending at the knees, lowering your hips like you're about to sit in a chair. And then you reach up, bringing your arms back, and you send your back toes, or your right foot, your toes to the back of the mat. Let me do it on the side here. So you're creating resistance in your leg by pushing down into the mat with your toes. So come down again into the chair pose. And I get my arms right. Bring your back, left leg, toes back, and create resistance, pushing off with your left toes. So the arms go out, and you're pushing down. And try to focus on staying with your hips parallel to the edge of the mat so that you're going straight. All right, a few more times. 3, 2, 1. And you shake that out. Then turn to the right side of your mat so you're facing the long edge of your mat. We'll come into wide-legged stance. So you, again, find that sweet spot between effort, relaxation in your inner thigh, groin area. Toes are pointing to the edges of your mat, so your foot's at a 45-degree angle. Excuse me. And then we're going to bring our hands up into star pose. And then bend your knees and bend your elbows. Come down into a squat. Goddess pose. And check in with your feet. Feel that they're snug in the mat. If you can, push them down and try to push them away from you so that they're heading toward the corners of the mat. That creates resistance. And with your arms, when you bring them down, feel like you're making muscles, like the old Popeye cartoon. So that inhale, come back up to star. Exhale, come back down to goddess. Pushing your feet toward the corners, pulling on your arms, making Popeye muscles. And lift up. Come back down again. Resist, pushing toward the corners. Elbows or arms are strong like Popeye. One last time, lift up. And then come back down again. And then back up. So then we'll here's a little moral of that lesson. It feels so good when you let go after resisting. So take that in mind when you're resisting winter being out there. If you just let go, it feels so good. So we're coming into warrior two. So point your left toes to the left side of the mat. Your right foot, the right edge of your foot snug in the mat. Your chest is facing the long edge of your mat. So again, push down into your feet, pushing your left foot forward and your back foot against the edge of the back foot so you feel that resistance and the activation of strength in your legs. And then bring your arms out. So you should be centered, grounded and centered. Turn your head to the left to look at your left fingertips. Inhale, bring your right hand down to your right thigh, lifting your left hand up overhead. Just sending your left hand up, pointing toward the ceiling, not further back. Sending your gaze up to your fingers if that's comfortable. For reverse warrior. And then bring your arm down so that your left arm rests on your left thigh. And sweep your right hand over your head for extended side angle. And bring your right hand back down to the mat. Pivot your back foot so that you're in runner's lunge. Let runner's lunge, your knees right over your ankle. Back leg is straight and strong. Back heel's pushing to the back of the mat. Bring your right knee down to the mat. Right top of your foot back down to the mat. And we're going to come into a low lunge crescent shape, but you can do it in two versions. You can either rest your hands on your knees here, or if you're able, you can extend both arms up into the air. And then bring your both hands back down to the mat. Tuck your back toes under, lifting back up to runner's lunge. Keeping your right hand planted on the mat. Sweep your left hand up overhead. Come into a twist. Back leg stays nice and straight and strong. And then bring your left hand back down. Left foot goes to the back of the mat to join your right foot. And come into plank pose. Wrists are right below your shoulders. Legs are nice and straight and strong. Heels pushing to the back of the mat. Navel's tucked to the spine, lifting your hips slightly. And come down to the mat gently, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Chaturanga or either one, keeping your elbows tucked toward your ribs. And gently come down. Keeping your hands planted on the mat. Push up into cobra. Finding that sweet spot with cobra. And then push up into tabletop. And then we're going to go into child's pose. So lower your hips to your ankles, stretching your arms out ahead, and come into child's pose. Then come back up into tabletop. Tuck your back toes under and lift your hips up. Come up into downward dog. We'll pedal out here for a moment. Just focus on your hands having equal weight in them. Equal weight is on your fingertips and your finger pads, not on your wrists. Chest is toward your thighs. Hips elevated up to the sky. Knees to be bent or can pedal. And then just slowly walk your feet up to your hands, coming into forward fold. And then slowly raise up into mountain. Now on the other side, so open up to the left side of your mat, coming into a wide-legged stance. Toes are pointing to the corner edges of your mat. Find that sweet spot. Bring your arms up into star. And then bring your elbows down as you bend your knees down. Resisting with your feet, pushing your toes toward the corners of the mat. Resisting, making Popeye arms. And then come back up again. And then come back down. Push those toes toward the corners. Your feet aren't actually moving. It's just you're feeling that strength in your legs. And inhale, coming back up. And then one last time. Push down, resist. Exhale, let go. And return our right foot to the right side of the mat, coming into warrior two. So we're going to bend our right knee over our right ankle. Left foot goes out back at a diagonal and pushing down into both feet, pushing the right toes toward the front, pushing the back edge of your foot toward the back, feeling that resistance and energy in your leg. Lift your arms up to shoulder height. Chest is facing the long side of the mat. And then slowly turn your head to gaze at your right fingertips. Lower your left arm down to your left thigh, lifting your right arm up, pointing to the ceiling. And you can gaze up at your fingertips. And then lowering your right arm to your right thigh, bringing your right arm on your right thigh, and then sweeping your left hand overhead to extended side angle. And feel that resistance in your feet, that energy pushing. Then bring the left hand down to the mat, the right hand down to the mat, pivot your back foot so you're in runner's lunge. Bring the back knee down to the mat, back foot down to the mat, and come up into a crescent and low lunge. One way or is to do it is to put your hands on your knees and stay there. Or if it's comfortable and available to you, you can lift your arms up, overhead, just creating a gentle back bend. And bring your hands back down to the mat. Tuck your back toe under, coming back up to runner's lunge. Keep your left hand planted on the mat and sweep your right hand up to the sky for twist. And bring your right hand back down. Bring your right foot to the back of the mat to join your left foot and come into plank. And you can gently lower to the mat, either chaturanga or knees, chest, chin, keeping your elbows tucked to your ribs. And keeping your hands where they are. Lift your chest up, gently pushing with your hands, come into cobra. Elbows again tucked to the side. And then lift up into tabletop and come down, lowering your hips to your ankles into child's pose. And come back up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under. Hips come up into downward dog. And spread your fingers out wide, having the energy in your fingertips, in the palms of your hand. Chest is reaching toward your thighs. Hips are elevated up toward the sky. And just pedal out here for a few moments. Then bring your knees down to the mat, come back into tabletop. And you can swing your legs out to the side. We're going to come into staff pose. So come into a seated position. You may want to be on a blanket here, cushion. Elevate your hips a little. I just have this divot that I have to work around here. I know. All right, back up. All right, staff pose essentials. Your toes are flexed, reaching up to the sky, energizing your legs. You can take your hands and create little fists and push down alongside you, lifting your hips up slightly and bringing your hips back down. Feel your sit bones, feel evenly distributed there. You can do it another way by just kind of moving things aside. And this is the essence of staff pose. Nice elongated back, long neck, arms to your side. We'll bring our right knee up to our chest. Give that a nice gentle hug. Then wrap the left arm around the right knee and send the right hand back, keeping it toward your hips so that your back stays nice and straight and long. Sage pose. And then come back into staff pose. And bring your left knee up to your chest, give it a nice hug. Placing your left foot on the mat, wrap your right hand around your left knee and send your left hand out the back. Again, close to your hips so your back stays nice and straight and strong. And then come back to central. Bring both knees up so that your feet are planted on the mat. And you're still in that nice straight back from your staff pose position. You're gonna reach your hands underneath your knees. And then with this back straight, so you may want to use the back of your legs as leverage. You're gonna lift both legs up off the mat. So you come into a half boat. Again, you're on your sit bones, your back is nice and straight. And then you bring your right toe to tap it on the mat. Bring it back up. Left toe down, tap it on the mat. Bring it back up. And then bring both toes down to the mat. Tap the mat and bring them back up. So again, right foot down, tap, comes back up. Left foot down, tap, comes back up. Both feet down, comes back up. Your navel's tucked to your spine to support your lower back. So continue, right foot down, back, up. Left foot down, taps, come back up. And both feet comes down. Both feet come down and back up. So the next round you may want to try with your hands released. So releasing your hands from the back of your legs, you're gonna get the jitters, but right foot comes down, left foot comes down, both feet come down. And then grab back on and do one more with your hands in the back of your legs. Right foot down, left foot down, both feet down. And if you can, let go, right foot down, left foot down, both feet down. Back up, hang back on, right foot down, left foot down, both feet down, back up, let go, right foot down, left foot down, both feet down, back up. Wow, I'm feeling that. Right foot down, left foot down, both feet down, back up. One last time, right foot down, left foot down, both feet down, and relax. Yay! Let's gently roll down to the mat. You can either go down one vertebrae at a time or the express method, putting your hands behind your legs and rolling back. Bringing your knees to your chest. Give them a nice gentle hug and then rock back and forth. Massage that lower back. And if you like, you can make circles. So draw a nice big circle with your toes, going clockwise. And if you want, counterclockwise. Give your back a nice massage, doing either one. And then bring the soles of your feet to the mat and bring your feet out toward the edge of the mat. So one foot's on each side of the mat. So it's wider than hip width apart. Bring your arms out to a T shape from your shoulders at shoulder height. Both palms are facing up. Heads looking up toward the sky. Then exhale, dropping both knees to the right side of the mat. And as you do the right side, you're going to turn your head gently to the left. your left palm will be facing up to the sky, and your right palm, flip it down so the palm is actually facing the mat or facing the ground. So knees are to the right in a windshield wiper form. Heads gently turn to the left. Left palm is facing the sky. Right palm is facing the ground. Then inhale, bring the legs and head back to center. Flipping your hands both open again, facing the sky, and then lowering your legs to the left. We're going to turn our head to the right and flip our left hand so that the palm is facing to the ground. Our right hand's palm facing up to the sky. So it's kind of this flipper effect. Knees to the left, head to the right, right palms facing to the sky, left palms facing to the ground. And then again, inhale, lifting your legs back to center, bringing your head back to center. Gently lower your knees to the right and flip your hands and turn your head to the left. Inhale, come back up, knees to the center, bring them to the left side, then drop them to the left, turning your head to the right, palms facing up to the sky, right palm facing up to the sky. Inhale, come back up, knees up, heads up, lower them to the right side, turn your head toward the left, flipping your hands. And then just keep going at your own pace, probably a little faster than what I was demonstrating. And just kind of windshield wiper your legs. Gently roll your head back and forth. Flipping your hands, I don't know if flippering is a word, but flipping your hands back and forth. So each time that your head's gazing at your hand's facing up to the sky. And then come back to center and lower your legs down to the end of the mat and prepare for Shavasana. So if you need additional clothing, blankets, you do that now. Just relax, let your feet let go. Any resistance you feel in your feet, just let that go and let them flop open. Any energy you feel in your legs, let that go. Relax your hips. Relax your shoulders. Your arms out to your side with the palms up and relaxed. Wrists are relaxed, elbows are relaxed. Shoulders and chest. Get nice and cozy with the mat. Letting out an exhale to lower yourself down deeper into the mat. And then another exhale, even deeper, letting go. Relax your jaw. Soften your eyes. Place a smile on your lips. I have a poem this morning by James Cruz called Winter Morning. When I can no longer say thank you for this new day and the waking into it, for the cold scrape of the kitchen chair and the ticking of the space heater glowing orange as it warms the floor near my feet. I know it is because I've been fooled again by the selfish, unruly man who lives in me and believes he deserves only safety and comfort. But if I pause as I do now and watch the street lights outside winking off one by one like old men closing their cloudy eyes, if I listen to my tired neighbors slamming car doors hard against the morning and seeing the steaming coffee in their mugs, kissing their chapped lips as they sip and exhale each of their worries white into the icy air around their faces, then I can remember this one life is a gift each of us was handed to and told to open. Untie the bow and tear off the paper. Look inside and be grateful for whatever you find, even if it's only the scent of a tangerine that lingers on the fingers long after you've finished it.